are grateful that we have your company for the last 3 days. And we're going to take a slight change of direction today from what we talked about last week. I mean, last 2 days. And I'll explain to you a little bit more afterward, okay? But I think before we, I just want to take a couple of housekeeping stuff. I just want to do that before we have a word of prayer, okay? Good. So, where's my box? Sorry, guys. Yeah, wonderful. Okay. No. Yes, that's right. Thank you so much. So this is the fourth session, which is also our last session. But I believe that this is actually not our last. If you want to continue to learn, we have their ways. I think it's so important at this time that we do that. But for the people that actually have been feeling depressed and the feeling of hopelessness, and they have trouble sleeping, or you find that your appetite is either overeating or find it very hard to take food in, or you lose interest in things that you normally enjoy doing, or maybe a combination of some of these thoughts of self-harm, or restlessness, fidgety, cannot sit still, and thoughts just go on in your mind. You just find yourself cannot stop worrying, and find yourself also easily annoyed, irritable. So if you have some of this, a combination of some of these symptoms, I really encourage you to seek professional help, or at least let somebody know, this is a time that help is needed before it, gets worse. And so I really want to point this out, that to get help, or at least let somebody know that they can find appropriate help for you if that is what you're experiencing at the moment. Yeah. And so with that, also with yesterday, we talked about the 11 irrational beliefs. I have already sent the list to our coordinator for Reconnect, that he would be able to send that out to everyone that have registered for the mental resilience workshop that we have, in Reconnect. So, but if you find your way in without registering, we will still welcome you. And but if you're interested in getting the list, please do send me your email address, on the chat room, and then I will personally email you a copy of that. And remember what I mentioned yesterday, that if you take the time, at least just to give it a go, to see how you can replace some of those, irrational thoughts, those lies that Satan trying to put in our head, I will send you a full list of suggested truth, replacement thoughts. That would be very helpful. I mean, what you guys did yesterday was great. It was excellent. And so maybe I'll add some of those, into my future notes as well. So, yes, so please do that. And then Johnny will help me to put my email address in the chat room at the end, so that you can get access to it, and feel free to email me questions or comments or as well. Okay, good. So just a quick recap of what we learned yesterday. Excuse me. That the way that we think can actually change the structure of your brain. I don't know whether you got a chance to listen to Daryl's talk just then, on children and COVID-19, and I was so glad that he put that mental health components in there. That he talks about how children, when they actually face with stress and challenges, how they actually experience those things. The fact is that children are very good in remembering things. They are very good in recording what happened. When there was a happy time or when there is unhappy time, but they are very poor interpreter. The way that they look at things, explain the situation. Sometimes, instead of thinking what like adult would think, sometimes they blame themselves, for certain bad things that happen. And so a lot of times, some of these thoughts, we think, how does all these thoughts been coming from? Some of these thoughts actually come from our growing up, storing up, recording our interpretation of some negative events in our life. And so it does take time to undo, but if we make the effort, if we make the decision to take the first step and the second step, and continue practice, you can actually change the structure of your brain. And so I want to encourage you, continue this journey. If this is something that, what we share here has been, you find helpful or interested, please do continue that learning and this, okay? And we are here to journey with you. And we also talk about the maintenance cycle, how certain triggers, certain situation. I use the, panic buying example about the toilet paper, how, when you see that all the shelf emptying out, and then we start to get anxious, feeling anxious and tense up. And then the thought is that, oh, it will be horrible, it goes on. And then it will be horrible and also awful and terrible, if I don't have toilet paper in my home. And as a result, our behavior follow. We actually go and buy some more. Even though there's stacks of them at home, we keep buying it because there are other triggers that comes along the way as well. And so really, there are ways to break the cycle. Physical, break the cycle, at the physical element. We spend a lot of time on how to break the cycle on the thoughts level, how to dispute it, how to dispute your thoughts, and recognizing that this is actually a lie, this is not true, it's not logical, it's not based on reality, and the fact is that, I don't see even in country like China, in Wuhan, I don't hear news that people run out of food. And so, or news that, people really run out of toilet paper. So we just need to check the facts and find evidence and see whether this is logical. And today we're just going to also talk about what are some of the things, instead of being, going around and around this cycle, what are some of the things that we can break in behavioral level as well? Instead of not doing certain things, what are some of the things that we can do? Yeah. So this is the 11 common irrational beliefs. And so I leave it for you as an exercise. That is a starter. And as you become more aware of some of this, irrational belief, you would actually starting to detect some of your own that is more particular, more specific to yourself. So those are the things that we have covered yesterday. And today we are, well, that's okay. So some people say, hey, Tina, sometimes, we ask the question, don't worry, that are you trying to, make us think positively so that, to make ourselves feel better, by thinking positively? Is this positive psychology? Yes, that's an element of that. But you know what? That's we fooling ourselves. No, because we are based on reality, what is logical and what is evidence-based. But let's see what Professor Lee Ross, he's a professor in Stanford University. He said optimistic is not about providing a recipe for self-deception. The world can be horrible, cruel place. seeing around us now. And at the same time, it can be wonderful and abundant. These are both truths. That is not halfway point. That is only choosing which truth to put in your personal forefront, which truth you want to focus on. It's like roses, that roses got the fragrance and it's beautiful, but it's got thorns. So are we going to focus on the thorns, or are we going to enjoy the beauty of the roses? And so this is what we're talking about here, the choices that we make. Which wolf, Cindy talked about which wolf are we going to feed? And that will be the one that will continue to grow in us. And so before I start today's topic, today I'm going to share on the topic on gratitude, how Thanksgiving and being thankful and gratitude can help us to be mentally resilient. Before I start, I just want to start with a word of prayer. Our gracious Heavenly Father, oh Lord, I thank you so much because you are a God that create us in a wonderful way, and also you build in ways and means in our brain and in our mind um, that is able to adjust and adapt as well as make changes. You give us the gift of choice. And so as we come together and consider this topic, gratitude and Thanksgiving, I pray that your Holy Spirit will speak to each one of our hearts, and that we'll give you thanks and praise for everything that you provide for us. For all this, we thank you in Jesus' name. I pray. Amen. Amen. Okay. Now, I told you that I check news, BBC News. Anyone, I want to see anyone actually watch a news in BBC this morning about British Prime Minister Boris Johnson, his tweet this morning in thanking the NHS as well as the nurses that looked after him for his 10 days stays in the hospital. Anybody saw that news? Yep, you're typing. Yeah, that was a very interesting news. In the news, you could see that he was, thank you. Susie did very good. Yeah, and some others, if you haven't, do that. Watch it because he was just, you could just see that, he's in his suit and tie, but the way that he conveyed that message, it's not like I'm the prime minister, and so I better say the right thing to thank people. He was really, really grateful when you share, when you hear him speaking, and particularly he actually mentioned some names. He was very specific in that message. He mentioned the names of the people that look after him in the hospital, and he particularly mentioned two nurses' names. I think if I remember well, it's Jenny and Louis. He was very grateful for. He said that I could have gone either direction, but they were there keeping an eye on me for that 48 hours period. What did you feel when at the moment we are watching so much news that are negative and sad. It's very sad. And what did you feel when is the only one that watched that news? If you haven't, I really encourage you to watch it because that really changed the tone. When I watched that news, it's like a breath of fresh air. When he, expressed his gratitude for, the help that he got while he was in the hospital. And so that was actually a very fine example of, very timely example of gratitude training. And I'm sure that it actually does him some good as well, for his physical and mental health. So I want for him to do that. So it's a story about this young boy. He goes to school, but he's the only one that's on a wheelchair in his class. And so one day, the teacher gave an assignment of write an assignment of Um, would you, how would you want to be? What would you want to be if you are to live all over again? So everybody, right. And everybody expect this young boy, let's call him Johnny, this young boy uh, that he would write, I would, if I were to born again, I would want to be a physically fit person, But yet, you know what? When he when the teacher got everyone to read the assignment out, when this Johnny read out his assignment, you know what he wrote? He said, you know what? If I were to live all over again, I would love to be my mother's mother. That is actually his friend. He said that the reason why is that, I have to be on a wheelchair. My mom did so much for me. I'm so grateful. But I know that in my lifetime, I will never be able to repay her for what she has, been doing for me in helping me. And so he said, I want to be her mother so that I could do many more things, for her to show her how great to express to her my love and my appreciation to her. If you listen to this story, you see this young boy, he may be disabled physically, but he is very healthy mentally. Yes. So, what are some of the characteristics of people that you can change it? Of grateful people? Normally they're happier and they have more vitality. They are more hopeful and more positive as well. They tend to help other people's more, and they tend to be more sympathetic with other people's needs. And they find that they have lower in depression, anxiety, loneliness, or feeling of jealousy, neurotic symptoms. And often they are more spiritual and religious. They're able to forgive, and also they're less materialistic. Later on, I'm going to explain um, to you why um, expectations. Don't worry, it's okay. Why that is the case? That thankful people are actually more, um, less materialistic. Okay, so there is, and in fact, there are many studies. You just Google it. All right, benefits of gratitude, benefits of Thanksgiving. There are just so many research that has done in this area that over and over again has proven that. So whether it's in a physical level or whether it's a mental level. So that was a study that is done on the, dynamic between the brain and the heart, brain-heart connection. And so they asked the participants to do, into four groups in doing four different things. The first group, they are to imagine fun, joyful things, like holiday, in favorite destination, and group is that they do meditation. And the third group, they just relax, R&R, sit on the beach, just relax and rest, get the rest that they need. And the fourth group is actually to express thankfulness, express their gratitude for the people that is around them. So guess what? The result comes out, which group find that, the heart that actually works, in most harmonious way. So they say that a grateful heart, so it comes out the last group of people actually keeps their heartbeat rhythm at the most steady level. That is for the optimal functioning of their heart. And that is even better than when they're resting or when they're sleeping. So definitely a grateful heart, is a good medicine for us. So what do I mean by thankfulness? What do I mean by gratitude? It means being able to see the brighter side, even in the time of frustration. Uh, so yeah, we're full of it, all around us, with self-isolation and different things that's happening around us. Or even some of you have to get on online training challenges that comes along with that, as well. So we're able to see the brighter side of it. And also giving thanks to God and others in daily lives in a regular basis. Yeah. And counting and appreciating the blessings that's received. And at the same time, not taking things for granted. So that is our what we mean by being grateful to people, for others. And so let's see what the Bible, the ancient book talks about. It talks about thankfulness. So in the book of First Thessalonians, it says, rejoice always. How? Pray without ceasing. And in everything give thanks. For this is the will of God in Christ Jesus for you. So Bible, is a instruction book for us how to live a happy and fulfilled life. And here you see that prayer, give thanks. Now, in Philippians, this is maybe a very familiar verse for some of us. It say that be anxious of nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, your request be made known. Again, so instead of asking rejoice, asking us to be rejoiced, on the other side is getting anxious, it's like two sides of the coin. It says that in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving. So it's interesting in different Bible verses, actually link prayer, thanksgiving together. Let's see one of my favorite Christian Bible writer does she say. In this book, Ministry of Healing, she says that nothing tends more to promote health of body and of soul than does a spirit of gratitude and praise. It is a positive duty to resist melancholy, means depressed thoughts, discontented thoughts and feelings, as much as a duty as it is to pray. So if you are a Christian and believe in prayer, now that's news for you. If you think that prayer is important, giving thanks is equally important. Hey, let's look at it a little bit more. You know, Gratitude and blessings. In life, when we can look around us, everything, every day, as we look around us, if we thank God for the lantern of blessing, small light and torch of blessing that God has given me, then He will give us a candlelight. If we thank God for the candlelight He's given us, He will give us the moonlight. And if we thank Him for the moonlight He has given us, He will give us sunlight, which is brighter. You can see things are getting brighter and brighter. And if we thank Him for the sunlight, for sunshine that He has put in our heart, He will give us the heavenly light, which is the brightest of all. And so as we see that, when we have a heart of gratitude, we could see that the blessing that comes in our life seems to grow brighter and brighter. And we actually get to see more and more blessings. It's like tuning in our eyesight, and our eyesight gets sharper and sharper. And we're able to see a lot more blessings in our life. Yes. So, thankfulness is one element of what we call positive psychology, which is another very another area of psychology at the moment that's coming out with a lot of research that is very, very interesting. And some of this research result, they talk about thankfulness, gratitude, talk about love, talk about forgiveness, talk about humility. And what Daryl talked about, in his last talk in the health talk just then, about altruism, being able to help other people. So all these elements, being thankfulness is among one of the most effective in training methods in helping people to be happy, living a content life. So It's another experiment. What I'm going to share with you, not just from the Bible, a spirit of prophecy, which is like ancient wisdom. But now science is catching up with what the Bible is teaching us. So there's another experiment that was done in Dallas, Texas, on university students, over 3 weeks of time on thankfulness. So they divide them into, again, 3 groups. The first group of students, they write down everything that happened to them on the day. So basically, they wrote diary continuously for 3 weeks. The second group, they write down all the unpleasant things that happened to them on that day. And the third group is they write down all the thankful moments that that person, the student, have experienced, on the day. So they did that consecutively for 3 weeks, and this is the result. They found that the last group, which is the thankful people, that starting to build a habit of being thankful, usually they don't feel as stressed. They can actually handle stress. They are happier than other people. They are full of energy and they don't get sick. Actually help them with the physical health, not just the mental. And they are able to share the joy with other people. And it says that thankfulness and complaint are like a virus. They spread and infect others. At the moment, the world is facing COVID-19. Would you consider actually spreading another virus? And to make the people around you, to help them, they have a more positive mindset and happier as well. If you feel that I'm so helpless, there's nothing that you can do. So indeed, there's something that you can do. We will have some practical elements at the end of our talk later on to share with you. And so how does it actually work? So how does actually, we say that be thankful has these benefits. So how does it actually happen in our mind that makes those things happen? Is that when we are being thankful, when we actually express it in writing or verbally, we actually enjoy more positive experience because you don't normally thank people for hurting you, right? You don't normally thank people for doing nasty things to you. You often thank people for doing something positively. And so you actually enjoy those positive experiences the second time when you express it. At the same time, is that when you thank other people, you actually elevate your own self-esteem. How does that happen? Because you are actually looking at the positive side of the person that helps you. And so you are actually positive elements of helping and respecting. So you're actually looking at something that is so it keeps you from comparing yourself with other people. Oh, they are so good. But yes, that you could see the same thing, but if you do not express your thankfulness, you may just compare yourself with others. But if you are able to actually express it to the other person, which is positive experience, and it makes you feel better about yourself too. The other thing is that you're able to find positive aspects in negative situation. You actually reinterpret the incident as a positive experience. Let me give you an example. Just then we use, you can look at the rose, you can enjoy the rose, the fragrance, and all that. It's positive. At the same time, you can look at the thorns, the example that I gave yesterday, yes, that's right. It's about my assignment. My online learning, my online skill is not very good. It's growing. But I miss a big chunk of what I'm supposed to do on my online study. But instead of looking, oh no, all the catch up I need to do, I'm behind, what? I was just so thankful that it's still early in the semester. I can do something about it. And on top of that, the lecturer catered for it. She said, I think I know that a few people will be like that. And so she said, so of hand in your first of the assignments on certain date, and now I postponed it 1 more week. So that was praise. It was very, very thankful. So in that sense, when we're able to reinterpret the the experience from negative to positive, it's really helpful. I can tell you that. And also we value what we have. Oh, and positive mindset leads to positive behavior, as we see from that maintenance cycle. And it also builds new and strengthens relationship as well. People enjoy um, to be around happy, positive people. Yeah, even though you're the best of friends, but if the person keep looking at the negative side of things, it becomes very heavy. It becomes very and so are the other areas. You value what you have, and so you keep you from comparing yourself with other people. So I mentioned that earlier as well. And also the is that you cannot have positive and negative emotions at the same time. And so when you focus on what you can be thankful for other people, which is a positive experience, the negative thoughts cannot find its way into your mind. So much of the time and energy is spending on pursuing things that is currently we don't have. But when we're able to be thankful for what we already have, then it will not make us, it reverse our priority to help us to appreciate the people and the things that we already. And so that actually explains why a person that is grateful is less materialistic. They're already so thankful for what they have already. I don't need so much more. I'm so thankful for all the toilet paper that I'm able to find. I don't need to go and until it runs out, so I'll go and get it. By then, I heard that the supermarket is stocking up again. So yeah, those are the nuts and bolts on how actually thankfulness can actually help us in being more mentally resilient. So I just want to be very practical uh, in in my talk, and for myself, can you get me that? I actually keep a gratitude journal. Once I learned about this, I can go and get it. Yes, that's okay. Um, so what I uh, learned about the blessing, the benefits of gratitude. I think we try it out. So I actually started 3 years ago now. 3 years ago, yeah, that's right. I actually started to use journal. You can use the beautiful one, but I just save money, and so I go to office work after the new year, and so all the merry of the year is already half price. Um, and so I actually write three Thanksgiving uh, in yeah, in every day. I just write three Thanksgiving. It's not big enough to fill the whole page, but next year maybe I can use this bottom half. No problem at all. So you know what? If I write thank three things that I'm thankful for in one day, how many do I get in 1 year? Get over 1,000. If I'll get over 1,000 of Thanksgiving. And then at the end of the year, would choose the top 10. What are the top 10 Thanksgiving for this year? And the joy of reviewing what I have written down, because I need to find my top 10. And actually, a lot of times it's actually um, a progressive blessings. It happened. It's like the lantern to the candlelight to the moonlight to the sunlight. It was, and actually by the end of the year, I got an idea of roughly what some of those blessings. But reading them through is such a joy. And so I've been doing that. Say that when I actually do my writing at the end of the day, every day, um, thoughts do come to my mind that there are certain things that did not go well that particular day. But the fact is that when I choose to record the positive experiences that I have for the day, it gives me I find that it gives me more mental strength and energy to deal with things that are not going well. And so this is do personally experience the joy of uh, a gratitude journal. And because it's been so scientifically proven that uh, gratitude has so many benefits. These days, you'll find that you can get hard copy that is so beautiful, for gratitude journal or even e-journal, online gratitude journal that you can find that as well. And so I really encourage you to give it a try and see what how it helps you. Uh, Especially during this stressful time that we all experience, that still we can still find things to be thankful for. I'm very I never find it hard to find three things. If you find it hard, at least start with one. So I just want to I could have acknowledged it earlier. The training I give you now is actually from my friend Dr. Nami Kim. She is a professor in psychology in Sanyu University in Korea. And so she came to Melbourne early last year to do some training for us. And before that, I actually got hold of her material and did some of the training. She called it mental fitness training. And so besides being a university professor, she is also a pastor's wife. And so in her church, one time in Sabbath school, there was in a Sabbath school feature, she did is that she has a whole deck of gratitude journal, simple journal. And she shared about the benefits of being thankful. And then she said that I want to do a project. Anybody that is willing to commit for the next 1 quarter to start writing your 3 phrases a day, and then you have 1,000 phrases in a year. I mean, if you want to at least just start for 1 quarter, um, I will give you the journal. Then you can start right away. Uh, and in fact, this is actually a course that she actually does in her university as well. And the student has been finding it so helpful. But in this particular incident, she want to encourage her church to do it. So there was one deacon that she came forward at the end of her presentation. She came say that I don't think this is for me. I have so many things that has happened to me one after another. And Dr. Nami, Nami knew that what she has been going through. Her husband passed away not long ago. And after that, she lost her job. So she was finding it very challenging. And on top of that, her son, for some reason, some misunderstanding with her and actually stopped communicating with me. And so she lost the family support in times like this. And that she also developed a back pain, a back problem. And so she said, how on earth do can find things I can be thankful for? And so Naomi just smile and say, you know what? I think you are a perfect candidate for a gratitude journal. Just take it and try. Take it and try and see how you. And so, which this deaconesses, she did. She took it. And at the end of that Sabbath school quarter, at the end of the quarter, during the Sabbath school feature time, he was one of those that came up and shared test and her experience in, in writing, while writing that journal. So much. When she shared, tears came down from the members because they knew what she has gone through. And they also know that by prayer and thanksgiving, it has helped her to overcome challenges that she never thought that she was able to do. So for that, I really encourage you to give it a go for thankful, for gratitude journal. And often as Christian, we love to pray. We love to send supplication. We ask God to help. But I also like to see, this simple prayer that we will never forget the David's prayer when our prayer is. It says that, dear Lord God, please help me to forget to give you thanks, to give thanks to you when this prayer is answered. I hope that you will include this in your, because God knows what it actually do to us. How important it is to have a thankful attitude, even in time of challenges, to overcome all those. In time of needs, that, that is already, God has already put it all out. And so I invite you to come and experience, come and taste that the Lord is good. The wisdom of the Bible is good for you, and it would be for many other people too. So, gratitude journal is one. And now that is one thing that you can do right away. It seems to give you a lot of assignments. Maybe you can have a choice. So this is what we normally do if we're doing a workshop. It's a practical activity that we would give out some very nice stationaries, letter, writing to paper, writing print. And we would actually then get people to write down. They think of a person that they want to be thankful for. And then they start to write. And in the letter, you write down the specific things that you are thankful for. Don't just, like normally in WhatsApp group, we just say thank you, but be specific in writing down what exactly you are. Well, this I think Father Johnson did very well. I mean, he may not be able to, in public talk about what happened in intensive care, what they did for him particularly, but he specifically mentioned some people's names. And imagine that joy that brings to the staff, that has actually looked after him. And that's why we say thankfulness is like a virus. It will spread. And so so much effort has put in, like this Connect weekend that we have. There were so many people behind the scene that is making this work. The host, the coordinator, translator, workshop people, every single one of them. So I don't think you'll be shocked people to know, to be thankful for. So why not write them a note, if you can. It's nice to send a card, the one that you're particularly thankful for. Write a card, write specifically, what you're thankful for. And normally in a group, we will ask them to you either personally deliver to them and take a photo with that person, or you need to mail the letter. These days, that's what we can only do. Then ask that person to take a photo of the letter and the person, with that person with the letter. And then we will ask the people to send it back to the group, because that's always a smile on that person's face once they read the letter. So it's just some idea. At least, choose one or two, whether it's gratitude journal and whether it's writing a thank you card for somebody that maybe, it's your mother that has been helping, cooking, shopping. There are many people, that we can be. And this particular activity has been done as a research over and over again. It's just proven to be a very powerful way to influence. The blessing is always willing to do. And so that wrapped up our mental resilient workshop for the 4-part series that we did for the last four days. Last 3 days for today. But yet, if you find this interesting and helpful, we have more prepared for you. Today, maybe we have some questions. Maybe if you would like to send in your question when I am telling you what we have prepared for you after this, maybe we have a little bit of time for question and answers, so feel free to send in some question in the meantime. And yeah, so the next one, next online program we Explorer have is on the 19th. It's on the coming Sunday that we have another talk, mental health. Dr. Hiroshio, he is at it's the end of his training in psychiatry. He actually works in Box Hill Hospital. And he's going to cover the topic of how to cope with COVID-19 without suffering mental breakdown. It sounds a little bit scary. No, it's better to prevent than cure. And, I was just thinking through, the stress that we see around us, the hospital system, the society. I think this is just a glimpse of what is to come. The complication of COVID-19, the impact of it, I think would be a lot more felt, whether in a physical, mental, society, finance, in different way. I think complication of it would be even more impact on what we're experiencing. So please share it with your friend. That you will need to register online so that we know how many people that are coming. And it's a free online seminar that's happening next Sunday, 4 o'clock. And it's an online thing. So once you register, then we'll give you information on how to file out into Zoom for that. To join the seminar. Okay, and then after that, on Tuesday, the following Tuesday, we have what we call Beat the Winter Blues. Winter is coming, and it's, research has shown that people that lived in a Scandinavian country, when winter comes, they actually get less sunlight, and the rate of depression actually goes up. We call that seasonal affective disorder. And so winter is coming. And so the likelihood and with what's happening for depression, risk is real. And so if in think of 4 consecutive days, seminar, it's going to be over 8 weeks. And so there will be time for practice in between. And it will be a program that based on the NATLI Depression Recovery Program, but it will be a simplified version of it. Okay, that we thought that it would be for people just to take a bite size of the information that he has to share. So that would be a video presentation followed by group discussion. And so we would be dealing with topics about lifestyle, what kind of food is good for our brain, what is the impact of depression in society, how to improve our EQ, what is the power, how to harness the power of thinking, and how to optimize your brain, physically. How can it enhance your frontal loop? And so it's a very comprehensive program, and I really encourage you to join in, not because, you don't need to be depressed to join in, because we have people that joined us in the past that they themselves want to help other people, because mental, depression, anxiety is so prevalent in the people that surround us. And they just want to learn something to help them to be able to learn some tips in knowing how to help the people that's doing so. So I really encourage you to join in. And again, you can sign up by calling. If you want more information, you can call that number at the bottom there, or you can sign up with the We Explore website. I mean the email address there, or you can email me. Johnny is going to put out my email address then at the bottom. And if you have any questions, feel free. And what we were originally going to do is that we're going to share some resources, but since it's an online, some material with you guys, but since it's an online course, and I think the need is right, and so we're going to scratch the $30 registration fees, and we will have resources that will recommend the attendants that they can get hold of. But that would be an option that's offered to you. So share with you actually a story of one of our participants that joined us in the previous session. Vicky is a 20-year-old young lady. She actually started to develop depression in her teenager years. In fact, a lot of mental health, actually, a good number of mental health issues actually started from teenage or young adult age. And so she was 21 years old. She was depressed since teenager years, and she came to the orientation program that we have, introduction program that we have, and it was her mother that signed up for the program. But in fact, it was her that wanted to attend the program. But we understand that with mental health, there are stigma that is attached. So she wasn't comfortable enough to say that I know, but that was okay. We were glad that she came. She was, she was looked as if she was there to support her mother for the program. And so when she came, she actually, previously she has seen psychologists. She has been on medication for depression. She just couldn't shake it off, and until that she actually had to drop off her university study. She could not continue with her study. And so when she came to us, she was actually taking a break from her uni study. And so she came and she learned about some lifestyle things that she can do. So one of them is exercise. So she really get onto it. Her boyfriend was there to encourage her, and they actually go running every morning, or they call each other to get each other to get out of bed. And also the group discussion that we have. When you have a group of people that's doing the same thing together, that is this positive peer pressure. No, it's accountability. That's right, accountability. That is very helpful. And she said, you know what? My psychologist has told me to do exercise many times. I never get around to do it. But because I came together as a group and there was people around me to encourage me. And so in the group, we discussed some of the things that we talk about, that we discussed in the last 3 days, in CBT, how to change the way of thinking. And she said, she started to get better. Really, as the 8 weeks progressed, we could see that she was smiling more, and she really, within the 8 weeks, she experienced a shift in her depression. We do a test, before and after, and her test, she was in the severe depressed category when she first attended the program, and afterward, it went down to mild. And in fact, when she finished the program, she went and enrolled on another course that she enjoyed doing, and she went right back into university. And so, as I started off, if you find yourself or the people that you know have challenges with their mental health, whether in depression or anxiety, get help. There are help around. There are even online courses on CBT that you can go and check it out. But they do find that with the accountability of a group or what we call low intensity CBT. That's what I'm studying now. I mean, it's one of the subjects that I'm studying. That with some people, with a coach, working with a coach, it actually it's very helpful to have that kind of accountability as you go along with the program as well. Okay, so those are some of the things that so I so and Vic is not the only person. We have many other people that has come through the program, and I have seen it work over and over again. And even just to come and pick up some tips and to know how to help people that's around you would be a blessing as well. So would you say to be thankful will go hand in hand with humility, and together both attitudes will encourage the growth of mental health in difficult situations? Definitely, definitely. I think Angie, you bring out a very important point. In fact, you listen to some of the psychologists. They are doing research in positive psychology. About thankfulness, gratitude, humility. I heard this professor from Stanford University. He is in charge of the forgiveness project. You listen to his presentation. If you didn't know that he's not a Christian, you would think that he is giving them, because all the values that he talks about, it's all the character, fruit of the spirit that we talk about from the Bible. And in fact, you know what he said? You couldn't believe it. He say the platform, because he's dealing with forgiveness particularly, he say the platform for forgiveness is humility. And so definitely the attitude of humility and praise in many other areas in our character. And it's just like, the fruits and vegetables that, God has created us for us. They work together, it's not to work, just to have particular one element, one kind of food that is superfood. It's things that God give us, they do work together hand in hand. So, yeah, I agree with you. It's true. So, yeah, I think any other questions, feel free if you have any question that you would like to ask in private, feel free to email me, and I'll try my very best to share with you. Shown me so far, yeah, but really thankful to have this opportunity to share with you guys what are some of the things we have learned. And once again, they how to come together to beat the winter blues. I hope many of you could join us, but the number is limited. Okay, so the format is that we'll have presentation and we'll have actually group discussion. And on online group, you cannot have too many people, to be in one group. And so we have a limited number of facilitators that can help us. And so I would really encourage you to sign up as soon as possible, as early as possible, because, well, really, this is only just over a week away. And so that we could fit you into our class, because really we could not take everybody. Actually, originally, this 4-day series, we were going to do in a workshop style, that we will have discussion and, presentation and discussion. But then we found out that the number of people that signed up is actually more than what the facilitated, number of facilitators that we have. And so therefore, we actually open it up to just make it. I trust that the benefits would be a lot more. And for a period of 8 weeks, habits can be built, can be beneficial as well. So if there is no other questions at this moment, I would just like to say a word of prayer. Close this series. Our gracious Heavenly Father, O Lord, thank you so much that in your love and in your wisdom, you've put down all the principles or healthy mentally, physically. All the principles are there for us, even from long time ago. So I just pray that each participant, as they continue to reflect over what they have learned over these few days, I pray you minister to them in very special way. And what they learn can be a blessing, to those around them as well. And so we just want to thank you and praise you for the fellowship that we have in this Reconnect camp. And bless those people that has blessed us so much. And pray all this in Jesus' wonderful name. Amen.